Oh yeah, that's right. The cold open. Damn. Every time, like I just when I get settled, and I'm like, we're just gonna go.
It's funny because we really created a couple set of hurdles for us because it's like we do a cold open before the show that has to be its own self-contained funny thing, and then after we close the show, we got to come up with another thing with a button.
Yeah.
It's almost like the opposite of why people come up with an open and a close.
Right.
It was to not have to do that kind of stuff.
Yep. It was really foolish of us.
It really was.
This is the height of our own hubris.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a real Icarus.
Oh
situation.
yeah. And we've now hit the sun, and
Yeah.
we're falling. We're melted. It's melting, and we're done. The
I
wings are
love
gone.
Incubus. What you say?
Icarus.
Icarus, Dickarus, Doc. Just say hello.
I know. We did it.
We hit it, and then you're just like.
Usually, when we're like doing the cold open, Brad's like shaking because he
often
needs
he'll
to
be
do
like,
the intro.
This time,
And then we did one, and he was like, he's playing with his belly button.
oh no! Oh, he looks like he's gonna.
No, I'm ready
explode.
now.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even realize that was our cold open.
Well, it turned into a fun.
Yeah.
It turned into a
Turned
silly.
into a fun.
As long as it turns into a fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
What percentage of this podcast is making fun of the things I say?
Like 40?
A good 40% probably.
You're welcome.
I wasn't even making fun of what you said. I
just
liked
kidding.
the idea of describing it
fun.
as we did a fun.
Yeah.
Me too. I like it too.
That's
I like,
what we do.
Whoa. Okay, I was gonna say it's fun to see fun as a noun, but fun also is a noun sometimes.
Sure is.
The normal
Yep.
usage.
Yep. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I'm Brad Rohr.
I'm Ray. Listen, it's not always going to be great, but it'll be here, consistent for you, Harrington.
And I'm Chuck, the linguistics funny maker Staten.
Ugh.
Yeah, it hurt a little bit, didn't it? Oh,
Funny maker is a weird one, right?
that's a little nails on chalkboard.
I'll say trying to not be as pedantic as I've been, just hanging out with Chuck makes it so challenging.
Oh yeah, he really
So challenging where I'm like, all right, I got to let that one go.
he needs to correct. He loves to correct.
Yeah.
I just
I
like
do it.
Yeah.
I think can I tell you something?
Yes.
I think you've replaced your correction because you know people have an addiction to like heroin and then they quit and they need an addiction to like
That's me.
food or cops like the show.
Why did you even have to say like?
yeah, no,
An addiction to like heroin. Right. You mean like the thing I think most people would be like the most addictive thing?
so people have addiction, they replace it with another addiction.
Yes.
Yes.
I think Brad has replaced being pedantic about maybe the right way to speak, the right words to use, blah, blah, with overpronunciation. I think it's become a thing where you did an Indiana Jones swap for the bag
It's
of
a
sand.
passive aggressive.
Yeah.
It's a passive aggressive.
Yes.
I can't change you, so I'm going to overdo what I have. Right?
I swapped and now I'm being chased
By the boulder.
through traps by a boulder.
Yeah. Oh, he's your boulder.
Yeah, well, my own mortality is the boulder. And like I'm slowing down, man. I'm slowing down
I'm being
intentionally.
chased by the boulder like Harrison Ford.
I mean, that's an exaggeration.
A little bit.
Speaking of
We'll see.
ominous, I don't like this anymore. Speaking of needing a transition,
Yeah, you were just saying that.
right? Here's a transition.
Oh, okay, I see.
No, so I mean, anybody watching or listening to this, they already know the title of the episode. We're gonna do some fun hypothetical questions.
Yes.
because Chuck Klosterman, a wonderful writer, I really enjoy him. I've read I think every book that he's written. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, even his diary, he doesn't even know.
Yeah, that's
that I
not
have
published.
it. No, I snuck in.
Okay.
But he likes to ask hypothetical questions a lot. He also had, I think, 2 editions of hypotheticals, which are, cards with hypothetical questions on them. They were gifted to me a long time ago because, some people knew I loved these things.
Right.
And in his book, Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs, which was the first book I read from him, It was absolutely wonderful. He produced these 28 questions he likes to ask new people.
Okay.
When he finds like to really, he's like, here's what I think you could ask to people to really understand who they are. And I thought that was really cool.
It is
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, it's not like, would you fly or would you be invisible? You
Yeah.
know, it's not that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that he comes to this with the respect that hypothetical questions need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is you have to honestly take that question in and answer it correctly, right? Not
say-
correctly, but like truthfully.
Yeah.
I'll say, as we've done this, I've learned things about myself,
Yeah.
and I do not like them.
Like what?
The things I've learned about myself.
That's how I feel about this podcast.
Yes.
What?
my like stinkers came out of a hypotheticals episode.
Stinkers was funny.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. I was going to say the Garfield thing was pretty harmless.
Yeah, I don't really remember it.
Not to
Okay.
cats, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not to the cats.
It's speciesist.
I think we've also learned some of our own vulnerabilities that are shared, right?
Yes.
Like the wizard that can make you better looking,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's right.
And we were all like, everything.
Yeah.
We'll give him every penny. I'll suck his dick right here in this
Yeah.
alley.
My nostrils will go away.
You can put it in my nostrils.
Yeah.
We are on question 13 of the hypotheticals
Wow.
of the 28 questions. These are super fun. This one is interesting, I think, maybe more for Brad, right? Because he's
okay.
the sports fella
Yes.
of the three of us, not doing watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you're wearing a Chicago bear that looks like a tiger.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a bear?
It is a bear.
That's a Detroit tiger.
You know what? It was sold as a Chicago bear, ergo bear.
Did the guy selling it
Detroit.
go, what do you like? Right?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Your Detroit Tiger is my Chicago Bear.
Yes.
That's a Carolina Panther.
Yes. Colors.
So okay, so here we go. Someone builds an optical portal that allows you to see a vision of your own life in the future. It's essentially a crystal ball that shows you a randomly selected image of what your life will be like in 20 years. You can only see into this portal for 30 seconds. When you peer into this isn't going to be like, do you use it or anything
Yeah.
like that. When you peer into the crystal, you see yourself in a living room 2 decades older than you are today. So Brad, 94. Sorry.
Me,
Well, at 94, and it's already gone around once.
Oh my God.
The odometer is
me
spinning.
27.
Yes. What?
You're 7? I mean, mentally, maybe. Emotionally, maybe. I don't know. You are watching a Canadian football game, and
course.
you're extremely happy.
Wow.
You're wearing a CFL jersey.
Uh-huh.
Your chair is surrounded by CFL books and magazines that promote the Canadian Football League, and there are CFL pennants covering your walls. You are alone in the room,
Of course.
but you are gleefully muttering about historical moments in Canadian football history.
Yeah.
It becomes clear very quickly that for some unknown reason, you have become obsessed with Canadian football, and this future is static and absolute. No matter what you do, this future will happen. The optical portal is never wrong. This destiny cannot be changed. The next day, you're flipping through television channels and randomly come across a preseason CFL game
Wow, preseason.
between the Toronto Argonauts
Yep.
and the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yes.
All right, maybe this question won't work for Brad. Knowing your inevitable future, do you now watch the game?
Right.
That's
Whoever
the
you want
question.
to answer first, you tell me.
No, it's fine. I think this is just, we're just chit-chatting here.
First of all, the fact that I'm alive in 20 years is a shocker to me.
Okay. And that hitman that's out there
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah. He's 20 years and one day.
You paid him, which is weird.
Yes.
Do it when I don't expect.
Yes. But
I
I
hate
but,
this guy.
He opens it, it's
lowest
a
of the
picture of you,
Yes.
but it's like from exactly that
Yeah,
moment that
yeah.
the picture has been taken.
Lowest of the low, dirtiest of the dirty.
Yes. I've spilled tomato sauce on myself in the meal, but it's in the picture.
This guy has hurt me in ways you would never understand.
Okay, so
I honestly, if there's football on TV,
You're gonna watch
I'm
it.
probably
See,
going to
this
watch it regardless.
the
but
question's broken with you, but I mean, think of
Yeah.
it in terms of like if you weren't at
right.
all.
Well, the
into
idea
it.
of, do you fight against your fate? is what it comes down to, or knowing that this like knowing it's going to happen anyway. This is a real mind bender of when you work on the logistics. But yeah, I'm probably watching it with the idea of, well, it's on. Like if, I know there's no sense expending energy trying to be something that I cannot possibly be.
It's interesting because you are a football fan.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of football.
Yes.
So it's not a leap in any way
No.
for you to be like into the Canadian
Yeah.
football. If anything, maybe it's more polite.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't give a hoot
Yep.
about those boys and men slapping against each other out on that gridiron.
Despite that, you did very well in our NFL predictions show. So
Yeah.
when we do our CFL predictions
it's just
show,
that I'm smart. You know what I mean?
that's it. Yes, you're like Saquon Barkley behind a renewed offensive line. Yeah, of course.
I said that. No, it was just that was ink that spilled on my arm.
Yes.
I didn't write it earlier.
Yeah,
If you did CFL, it'd be like, all right, it's the Toronto Rough Riders
it's
versus
Argonauts. Yeah,
the Montreal Rough Riders. Isn't there two football teams
there
called the Rough
are
Riders?
two Rough Riders
Oh my
in the
god.
CFL. Yeah,
See, you know more than I do. I'm
I
like,
know.
what? Yeah. I honestly didn't even really know that there was a Canadian football
Neither did I.
league.
Neither
Yeah.
did I till you said that.
Yeah. So to me, it's just like I have no interest whatsoever, let alone a relative to the
Yeah.
NFL
Right.
niche side version.
right.
I don't know. To me, it's so alien where I'd be
Yeah.
like, I cannot fathom how I got into this.
Right. Well, I have some hypotheses as to how any of us would get into the CFL.
Was I hit on the head by a full bottle of maple syrup?
Yes. Syrup. Just kidding.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
to
I know.
me.
I think if you know someone, so maybe a neighbor that like the kid who's lived down the street, he plays high school ball, and you're kind of interested. He goes to URI or Brown or someplace local,
Okay. Oh, and
then he
yes.
gets drafted, and you're like, oh, this guy like lives down the street from me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to follow his career, and that's kind of your gateway into it,
That's interesting.
right?
I honestly, I have such little
Yeah.
of football
Right.
that like a neighbor down the street would not be enough for me.
I was
Even
trying
to watch their
I was trying to
games.
figure out. All right, so 20
If
years from now, Finn.
If
Yeah.
Finn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Every game. That's the only way.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
a
I have to
different
look
thing.
at him and be like, realistically, this is probably the only way it's going to happen. So, dude, I guess you're a Canadian football player.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the exchange rate on these concussions?
Yeah. Put him a kicker.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Fewer concussions.
Oh no, but in Canada they call the kicker that they call the guy that gets hit in the head all the time the kicker.
The kicker. Oh my gosh.
Because he's named after when that horse kicked that boy. In the head.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people followed players they liked in college who didn't make it in the NFL, have followed their careers in the CFL.
Yeah.
And I just like Rocket Ismail played for I think Toronto for a while.
That's my character from my Moby Dick in Space
Yep.
novel. Rocket Ismail.
Johnny Manziel had a tryout or a cup of coffee with, I don't know, the Hamilton Tiger Cats or something. But I know. It's, I think people follow players to the CFL. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people
the
in America.
Winnipeg Rude Dogs.
Yes. I think Winnipeg might be the other Rough Riders team, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It's Edmonton.
Edmonton is one of the Rough Riders.
Oilers.
Yeah, I think they follow players
Yeah.
from like American college football
Sure.
to the CFL.
So if this was something
Yes.
that you weren't interested in at all currently,
Yeah.
how would you feel about that? Like if
It's-
it wasn't that, if it was, I don't know
yeah,
what it would be, but something you have no interest in at all.
right. We'll say opera because I don't know anything about opera.
Sure.
but maybe 20 years from now there's opera pennants hanging on.
Oh
or
my
whatever.
God, you're loving it.
And, yeah,
the
and
Fledermaus. Oh!
right. And like there is a question of how did I get into this?
Yeah.
Is it the next day deciding to give in to my destiny and I turn
But
on
that's
Carmen? Right.
That's that question. That is
Yeah.
that question of like knowing your fate.
Yep.
Does it create that outcome? Right? Is it a closed loop where like you can't
Right, is it
possibly break this?
predestined?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do you?
I might go mad.
Yeah. Do you fight against this inevitable ruin?
If I'm flipping through to answer the question on the phone, if I'm flipping through the next day, I see it. I think I'm intentionally not watching it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stop thinking about it.
Yes.
And I think eventually that wears me down.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, what about you?
I looked up. It was Saskatchewan and Ottawa Rough Riders.
Okay.
And I said earlier I didn't know there was a CFL either, but I knew that there was 2 Rough Riders teams. It's because it was on South Park like wicked long time ago,
Oh,
and you
okay.
unlocked a thing of like these Rough Riders are really giving a hard time to these Rough Riders, and they were that was the joke. So here's my take, which is very different from you guys.
Oh, okay.
I kind of see. So when I was young, I was really judgmental about people who got super into alcohol and drugs. When I was like 17, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as I got older and I dealt with breakups, spine surgery, house fire, I dealt with all these terrible things. You know, my mom going to dialysis, like all these terrible things that I'm like, oh, there's so much you can't control in life that's just going to happen to you. That I feel a lot more lenient about people finding things that make them happy, even if they're unhealthy, right?
Okay.
There are some people who find things that are healthy that make them happy,
Yeah.
but not everybody finds those things.
Sure.
And I'm someone who's pretty open to new experiences, whether it's music or food or live events or whatever. I can see that randomly at some point in time, I go to the Tell 'em Steve Dave studio and get him is watching a CFL game, or I'm in a place that has sports on and there's a CFL, whatever. I could see that serendipitously happening, and I do believe that sometimes you just find a thing that you like that you didn't expect, that you never would have sought out on your own, and you get exposed to it, and you really like it a lot. Like you were into graffiti for a while.
It sounds like you're trying to convince me to have sex with you. That's what it sounds.
You never know.
You never know until you try.
First of all, he always is.
Yeah. I wasn't into graffiti. I only did canvases. I did not.
Okay,
do-
yeah, sorry,
Well,
yeah.
I painted on other things like vinyl records. I painted on a lot of those.
Right.
A guitar I did. Stuff like that. I was not out tagging anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew people that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because we shared in the same medium, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah. So I was.
we
I was
do
into it.
graffiti and we sign it, Ray Harrington.
Or
Oh.
It is going to come back to haunt you.
You don't have a cool graffito name?
That's our cool graffito name.
Ray Harrington? It's so long.
Yeah.
it is long.
Yeah. Usually there's Bibbo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think that there was a time that you thought you would not get into Legos?
No.
Really?
I was a small boy and I thought they were awesome.
Really?
If you had told me when I was 8, hey, you're going to still be doing this when you're 42, I'd be like, yeah! You know what I mean? Also, Lego changed over time,
That's
which
true,
is
too.
hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I can't see a world where that happens for me.
Yeah.
It's just for me particularly being so not into football.
It's your
at all.
relationship to the thing in general.
Yeah,
already.
I kind of fall on, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think that the old phrase of religion being the opium of the masses,
Yep.
I think is football. And I think there's probably a real correlation between the drop in religious church attendance as a society over time and the rise of football, because people needed something to fill that hole and they just do this thing. And I don't understand it. I'm outside of it going, I don't get this. And I think a lot of this system is kind of ultimately bad as a whole for the individuals involved, for the cities that are victimized by this thing. I don't like it.
It's tough because
sorry.
I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah.
Really.
I sound like such a huge bummer right now. And I'm sorry.
I'm not really a sports guy.
Yeah.
But if Brad was like, hey, I want to go to a Blackhawks game. Do you want to come with me? I'd say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Brad
well,
was
you
like-
would go because you keep going. It sounds like Black Cocks. Yeah, right.
Every little while.
Yeah. Every time the announcer says their name,
Yeah,
you're
that's what it was.
Yeah. Nudge, nudge to Brad. Brad's ribs are bruised.
Yes.
The game hasn't even started yet.
But Rupert loves the Jets.
Yeah,
and if he was
yeah.
like, let's watch a Jets game, I would do it. All that stuff I'm very open to.
Oh, sure.
And there's been times the Celtics were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I watched all those
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's different things that I've gotten into.
Oh, like if somebody was like, "Hey, I really want you to come
Yeah.
with me to this thing," I would do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for forever, I would go to Brian Bowden's house,
Yep.
and then Derek Furtado and Brian and myself, we would watch the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And I just embraced like I don't give a shit what's happening on the screen, but I'm gonna write jokes about the commercials.
Yes.
Sure.
And I would live tweet them.
Yeah.
This was before everything turned shit.
Yep.
And it was fun because people were like, I had people like look forward to it. They're
Yeah.
like, "Are you doing the commercials this year?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, this is a good time." So I can engage with it in a fun way,
Right.
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah, no, and I could see myself at some point in time with the circumstances surrounding me where it's like, here's what your job demands, here's what your relationship is like, here's this, being pulled into something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe even the CFL, maybe they have a smaller amount of teams. Maybe it's like less all encompassing. Like if you really want to get into the NFL season, there's 1,000
That's fucking
podcasts
nonsense, yeah.
before the season.
I'll say this: tonight is the schedule release for the NFL. So
Oh my
for hours
God.
on TV, all they do is say, "Week 1, these teams play. Week 2."
That's why
blah, blah,
you
blah.
fought so hard not to record today.
That's correct. Yeah.
Now it makes
well,
sense.
and it's weird because like I don't watch a show. Each team's social media does like a wacky, like last year's Bears release video was themed around the Bear, take place in Chicago, and so they're like, order up, and it's week 2 against this team and all that. And I'll say the Detroit Lions schedule. The Detroit Lions schedule release was the Detroiters, Tim
Okay.
Robinson, and
that
yeah.
I
Oh,
like.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Only because I like
Right,
them,
and you know, the
Yeah.
Los Angeles Chargers did an anime themed one, whatever.
Oh my God.
And so it's
What's the Venn diagram of anime fan and football lover?
so surprisingly growing
Yeah.
more and more. It's
You don't understand the tentacle.
yes, it was but and like it means nothing. There's no benefit to like watching this. But part of me is like, well, if I'm not watching it, then I don't find out at the same time as everyone else.
Yeah.
And like oh, tomorrow I get to put all the Bears games in my Google Calendar. And but then nothing happens until training camp in late July. So this is also kind of like the last NFL news thing.
Yeah.
So think
for
about,
months.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So they do the draft,
Yeah.
which is based on the college teams the year before and how there's standout players
Yep.
and how there are people that are going on.
Yeah. And
Then
who
it's the
goes to
draft.
Vietnam?
Yeah.
They combined them for a few years.
Yeah.
And so then you find
Very
out.
entertaining.
Oh, because you hear your name and then you're like, right, you're so worried, and then they're like, Carolina Panthers. And they're like, Da Nang.
Vietnam Gators. so
Hamburger Hill. Hippos. Yes.
I was gonna go hamburgers. So there's all this bullshit. Then there's the schedule release. Then there's training camp.
Oh, I know.
Then
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
this.
yeah.
And it's
Preseason.
like,
Then there's who's the coach dating? It's
Yeah.
insane.
and I
now.
was getting
we
into
could
the
talk a
Patriots.
lot about that.
Oh yeah, we could.
I was going
That
to
child bride?
the Patriots for a little bit, and I started listening to like podcasts that were kind of about it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "There's so much of a history and an understanding of these people that I need to know," that it felt so overwhelming to be like Jimmy Constance and Johnny Constance's brother, and like different things like that. Like there was so many people, there was so many stats, there were so many things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is way too much to jump into, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if maybe part of the CFL is there might be less of a learning curve to being able to completely be part of that fandom.
Possible.
And on top of that, I'm combining it with I think people do randomly just find new things
Yeah.
and go, wow, I'm really into this. So my answer, if I see that, I must love it for some reason. It must appeal to me in this big way that makes me this happy. I'm jumping in the next day. Next day, I'm like, I'm gonna love this thing.
But you love loving things.
Yes,
I
you
do love loving
So
things.
that's like I think for you it would like unlock like oh I can have this adoration for like a whole other thing. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think that
But still feel superior because it's like hipstery. Be like, oh no, I love football. This CFL. There's this quarterback. You wouldn't hurt. You don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
One of the things I kind of realized during COVID was
What's that?
everyone got very hopeless.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of it was having nothing to look forward to. We're like, this is a blackness
Just
that
another
will,
day.
that will just not like. There's not like I'm looking forward to this concert. I'm looking forward to this comedy show. I'm looking forward to this festival. I'm looking forward to this show, this movie.
Yeah.
All that stuff went away, and it kind of showed me. I'm like, oh, you have your own life with all your personal relationships and all this stuff going on, but having stuff to look forward to probably really keeps people going and keeps them much more happy and hopeful.
Sure.
And so,
Which is why heaven was invented.
so amassing. I love this show. Like we're talking about
Yeah.
Severance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I love this show. I love this movie series. I love this band. I'm like being able to add another thing that makes me happy sounds really appealing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
This pill.
I know how I got into the
Oh,
CFL. I know
if
how
only.
I know how I got into it in this instance.
What?
I go back to the portal and it shows me the day before this. And normal apartment, and I go online on social media and a pretty girl is like, I've been thinking about getting into Canadian football, and I'm like, 24 hours later,
His entire apartment's changed.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that could happen for you. I think we figured it out.
1000%. That's
For
how I
you,
got
that's
into
how
it.
you got into
Yeah.
it. For you just got excited for a whole new avenue to go down to find freaks.
Yeah.
To go find. Are you a CFL freak? Right? How are you with the Manitowoc fucking Manx?
I love the Canadian Freak League.
Yeah. Oh, the Freak League is so good. Oh, Freak League. And for me, what I find out is it's very much a monkey's paw, right? Like it does come true, but it's not what you think.
Yeah.
And that day that I am sitting there, 20 years later, I realized like, oh, I got here because I have a gambling addiction.
Yes, I thought about gambling.
Yeah.
And it's off season.
Right.
So
They
for
won't
everything.
take-
everything
No,
big.
I've burned so many gambling bridges.
Yep.
I can't put bets on the NFL.
Yeah.
I can't do it for the NBA, the MLB. I can't even do it for ladies tennis.
Yeah.
I have to. The only people that will take my bets still are the CFL people,
Yeah.
are Canadians. And there are people in Toronto that are going to break my legs. So that's what I'm muttering. I'm
No,
muttering.
it's Canada. They're just going to rub your legs.
Yes. They're going to very politely break your legs. I like to think that you have it set up because they're filming something at your house because you're like getting work as an actor.
Hey, that's
that's
fun.
interesting.
That is fun. I like that.
But mine is just desperation to impress a woman who will not be impressed.
That is fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Now, I'm very excited because we are one more, and then the third of this episode is genuinely, teaser here, my absolute favorite hypothetical question.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Can I make one comment before we move on?
Yeah.
We're going to have to sprain your ankles, eh?
Listen, we're gonna have to do a punch buggy on you. All right, we're gonna dead leg you.
I'm sorry. Punch
Yeah.
buggy.
Listen,
I'm
this
sorry.
hurts. This hurts me more than it hurts you. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel bad about it. Don't look at me when I do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
look that way. All right, Frank, you do it. I can't do it. He looks like a guy I know.
Just do it all.
You are sitting in an empty bar. This is not my favorite one.
Okay.
This is the penultimate.
Got it.
You are sitting in an empty bar in a town you've never before visited,
Columbus.
drinking Bacardi with a soft-spoken acquaintance you barely know. That has no bearing on this, but just you're hanging out.
Yep.
After an hour, a third individual walks into the tavern. Sorry, I hit the wrong damn button. There we go. After an hour, a third individual walks into the tavern and sits by himself. And you ask your acquaintance who the new man is.
Yep.
Sorry, damn it. Be careful of that guy, you are told. He is a man with a past. A few minutes later, a fourth person enters the bar. He also sits alone. You ask your acquaintance, who is this new individual? Be careful of that guy too, he says. He's a man with no past. Which of these two people do you trust less?
He's a man of the past?
No, he's a man with a past.
With a past, sorry.
And then there's a man with no past. Which one do you trust less?
I think the man with the past is like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm
the
on
man-
board as well. Yeah.
The man with no past, what are you worried about?
Well, it's a phrase, right? It's
Oh,
a
so you
phrase
think it's
to
like-
describe people. Like, oh, that, like maybe in a movie or something like that, somebody comes in, oh, he's a man with no past.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can?
I don't know. I'm thinking more like, to me, it does sound a little ominous. The man with no past means like, no one knows this guy, where he came from, any of that stuff.
He's a
John Wick?
Like he's in
real wild
he's
card.
in town, but it's like, what is he about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A man with no past is I can't remember the character's name now. No Country for Old Men. It's that character with the fucking cow bolt gun killing people.
Anton Chigurh.
It's Chig something.
Yeah.
But that character is a man with no past. He's literally like,
Well, I don't
he's
trust him.
death.
I don't trust him.
Yeah.
He's cow bolting me to the forehead.
Right?
Not that
In
I
a
don't,
bad way.
Not that I don't deserve it.
Is he the guy you slipped the picture to?
Yes.
For the hitman.
Yes.
All right, I want you to come up with this guy, really get him. But I want you to have long hair and look weird.
Javier Bardem. There we
Yeah.
go.
Make it slow.
Not too slow.
Flip this coin. It's you. Oh, damn.
I think I can relate better to a man with a past. Even
Sure.
though, like, we've likely made different mistakes, but we've both made mistakes. And
Yeah.
so you get a sense of where somebody is coming from and how they're going to react and what their level of trustworthiness is.
Sure. And
yeah.
to be clear, this is not a situation where, like, one of them is bad
Right.
Yeah, of
and
course.
one of them is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we're just discussing.
Yeah, and those two phrases are, those are phrases used to describe people in different things. But I don't know what the core of the question is here. More, is it like knowing someone's troubled past or being unaware of anything?
Right.
I think I trust the guy with a past more, just like
Yeah.
you. More so because it's like, well, I know what that is. And more importantly, if he has been upfront with that stuff
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's there, he's honest.
Yeah.
He may have fucked up, even if his honesty is about how he was dishonest before.
Right.
At least I know that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The other person makes me innately feel like they have something to hide.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
I have a joke about Brad because he just said, I've made my own mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
And so this guy, he's comparing him to this man with a past.
Yeah.
Brad's mistakes are like, I went to Burger King last week instead of McDonald's. Those are the type of mistakes he's made.
I
in his
always
past.
forget that Burger King upsets my stomach.
And once I'm in the drive-thru, I can't say no thank you.
Right.
We've both done some things we're not proud of.
Yeah. Cut to the guy covered in blood, and then cut to Brad putting the crown on his head.
No, it's Brad going, these fries are bad. I was going
By
to
the way,
say,
I'm sorry. I almost choked to death on a Burger King hamburger when I was in like 7th grade because
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
I can eat this all in one bite, and like tried to
Yeah.
eat it all in one bite, and like couldn't breathe, and I'm doing the choking sign to my friend who's also trying to eat his hamburger in one bite.
we're both doing it.
I survived.
Was your friend
think-
Nancy Reagan?
No,
She could one-bite it? She was a throat goat.
She had no problem.
Yeah, she went, oh! Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't Heimlich you. You gotta Heimlich me. And he's like, I can't Heimlich you. He's like, back to back.
I can't Heimlich you.
we just ran and like stomach to stomach.
yeah.
No, Brad's like, I can't Heimlich you. I think it would look gay.
So
I'll choke to death. Fuck off.
I'm not a Heimlich top. I'm a Heimlich bottom.
Just punch me in the stomach. The straight way.
The straight, a guy who's so homophobic.
Great. I'd rather choke to death. No, just punch me in the stomach. See if that works. Right. That is very funny.
that is funny.
Closed fist.
I don't know. It's a tricky question, but I think.
No, I was gonna say-
Yeah, please.
I think you guys are making some assumptions that are not in this.
Okay.
You know it's a man with the past.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he told you, and it doesn't mean you know the past, and it doesn't mean he's admitted his past.
Sure.
Because if the Unabomber is a man with a past,
Right.
it doesn't mean he's owned up to his mistakes. It just is a guy that has a past.
Right. But the guy that helped the Unabomber also is a man with no past.
Oh, I was just gonna.
You know what I mean?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, it seems like you guys are assuming you know the past, and the guy is like,
Oh no. I'm going off of the idea that his past is out there. If this person's saying he's a man with a past,
Yeah.
they have clearly heard something about this man,
Yeah.
right? I think It's that idea of like the devil you know.
Yeah.
That's
You know
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
like, well, if this guy's info is out there, I can at least trust.
But you're not getting the info, which is interesting. It's not
Yeah.
really the devil you know.
No, because it's not. There is no information to give.
Exactly.
Right in this question, right?
Yeah.
Like if you went up to the guy, either one of them could be like, "Oh, let me tell you about my past," and be
Yeah.
honest, or be like, "Don't talk to me." You know,
know.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Let's just to extend this a little bit.
Yeah.
We have a laptop, and we're at the bar with our friend, and we're like, oh, we're gonna go outside, toot on our vape pens. Who were you asking to watch the laptop? Like the man with the past or the man with no past?
Neither. I don't want to ask them to hold the laptop, but to answer your question, that is tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
I will say
Although,
this.
if I ask somebody to watch a laptop like at a cafe or
Yeah.
something, I don't usually go like, "What's your deal?
Yeah.
What are you about?"
What's your past? Well, all the information you have from them is what you've gleaned from this conversation with
Yeah.
your vape pen friend.
So I think I'm going to go no past, and here's why.
Okay.
The man with the past could have done things that are sloppy and shitty, and everyone knows about him, right? Mm-hmm. The man with no past has to at least be very well put together, and he has to be meticulous if he's making sure that no one knows about who he is.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, if he's not like that, then he's just
Yeah.
a new dude in town. That's fine.
Yeah, I think when I hear a man with no past, I think of the movie cliche of somebody showing up in a town and like working a job that they kind of just get face to face with someone.
Yeah.
They live.
You know?
Roddy Piper
Yeah.
and They Live.
Oh, I trust Roddy Piper.
He's
to watch
just a
my laptop.
vagabond. He has
Yeah,
no
yeah.
backstory. He shows up in the town,
Right,
and he just
right.
works in a construction site.
Yeah. Well, in that particular one, he's like the anti-hero kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I just mean in general of like someone doing that is someone that has something to hide. Now, the people in that town, they probably don't know anything. And when you get there, in this regard, they're saying a man with no past. It's not like, and he's been here for 7 years and we haven't figured it out. It's just like,
Who knows?
yeah, maybe he's been there for 4 weeks and he sleeps on a cot behind the
Yep.
general store because he sweeps up. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
the kind of picture I'm envisioning.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah.
If it's
It
either,
says something to hide to
but
me.
so in other words, I guess to me, it's either a professional guy who doesn't want anyone to know his past, in which
Mm-hmm.
case he's meticulous and thoughtful, or it is just a new guy who no one knows anything negative about.
It hasn't shared anything, and
Yeah, that's Brad though. That's him.
Yeah.
He doesn't share anything.
but there's enough. I think there has to be enough of an impression for your acquaintance to describe them as a man with no past.
It's weird because I'm like,
versus that's Steve. He's new.
I'm
You
like,
know what I mean?
It's the guy with a past could be Nicolas Cage from Con Air, but it could also be
Cameron Poe.
Steve Buscemi from Con Air.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know.
It's not Cyrus the Virus.
No.
Nope.
All right.
If I had thought of Cyrus the Virus, I was like John Malkovich. But yeah,
I know it. There's no right answer.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
I'm just going man with no past. It seems like there's less to be worried about, even though there's the potential of things to worry about.
Sure.
The man with the past seems like for sure there's stuff to worry about.
Okay.
It seems like the other guy, there's a larger chance that there's not. That's my thought.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
All right.
there are no
Yeah,
right
there's
or
no
wrong
right
answers.
answers. Yeah.
I mean, we got close to finding one, but other than that, no, I'm kidding.
All right,
Okay.
Ray's
this is-
favorite question.
Oh, this is my favorite one, and we might even be able to just do all of this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's burn out the clock. Let's
All right.
just add, no, I'm kidding. This is my favorite. I've asked this of other people and gotten in arguments about this.
Well, that won't happen here.
You have won a prize.
Oh.
The prize has 2 options. You can choose either, but not both.
Okay.
The first option is a year in Europe
I choose both.
with a monthly stipend of $2,000.
Okay.
We're going to increase that because of inflation.
Got it.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to say $5,000.
Got it.
Yeah. The first option is a year in Europe with a monthly $5,000 stipend.
Okay.
You just do your thing. And I'll even go even further. We'll say lodging is going to be like at least guaranteed affordable or, whatever, right? Because the $5,000, you're going to be
Yeah.
out of money quick in Europe.
Especially at all the Holiday Inn Expresses that Chuck is staying in.
The second option I don't know if it's Holiday Inn Express. I think it's Holiday Inn in a hurry
Yeah.
in the UK.
Yes.
The second option is 10 minutes on the moon. Which option do you select? So, essentially, we can cut out details of the European trip. Essentially, you are given the option of an all expenses paid European trip. You do whatever you want for a year in Europe.
Yes.
You can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. Or an all expenses paid trip to the moon. You know, maybe you have to do a little bit of training up front, and then they take you to the moon. You're out on the moon for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like Katy Perry.
Nope, she just went into high Earth orbit and then came back down.
11 minutes, though.
Yeah.
And it was so worth it, and everybody loved it. It wasn't at all a thing that would be in a satirical film about like the collapse of things.
Yeah.
Right. So you can do that, and then you come back. Your guaranteed safety is in both. We won't worry
Right.
about those things, the risks involved, or whatever. Which of those two things do you choose?
I'll let you answer first because I answered first. on
I
the
was just going to
previous one.
say, we're sure we didn't do this question because I feel like we did something similar to this with space and we talked about it.
I might have asked you this question.
Oh, in private.
Just in private, yeah.
Okay.
I know we didn't do this question.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's obviously Europe. I just think that the experiences seem much richer. The experience seem more varied. You get to learn about more things. You get to continue to develop your understanding of a culture. You get to try new foods, and not just try new foods, but evolve your palate over a long amount of time. You get to get into art that's from that area in a way that you wouldn't be exposed. It just seems like there's too much more to collect as a human being
Yes.
than being in space for 10 minutes.
You have pretty much outlined my entire argument to the thing.
Wow.
We might have talked about this when we were editing Undependent.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that is pretty much my argument for this. I would take Europe like easily. And I have had real arguments
Yeah.
about this thing.
Yeah, I think another one's about to start.
Good. I can't wait.
can I tell you what Brad's-
I'll dig trenches right now.
Yeah.
This is a warfare situation.
I'll tell you what Brad's stance is.
Europe scares me.
He would take the 10 minutes in space because
Because it's alone.
Because it's less time away from his cat.
First of all, if you don't think Rosie is my personal
Yeah.
valet on the speaker,
Oh, I'm
man.
hearing like accordion, like.
I love her little
And you're on a
brain.
gondola, and there's it's you and Rosie.
no, it's space.
Keep paddling.
How many people have been to Europe versus how many people have been to
Yep.
the moon?
Okay,
Sure.
okay,
You're coming in hot, already
I
aggressive with
am.
this argument.
Yeah.
How many people have dug a hole under the Comedy Connection and lived there for a week? Nobody.
Just Ray.
Nobody.
I did that for charity.
So using that logic, more people have been to the moon than that. So experience the hole.
So
First of all, that wasn't one of the options.
I'm just saying.
your argument is you want to do this thing because it's more exclusive.
I want to do this. I want to.
No, that's a genuine
All
question,
right.
yeah.
So, partly that, yes, but partly because there is a more realistic chance I come back from the moon. I got a book deal. I'm writing my 10 minutes on the moon. You know, my cat pooped on the moon. Whatever it's called. I can still go to Europe. But if I choose
Sure.
Europe,
that's
I
true.
can't also then go to the moon. Or I guess
Unless
it's,
you befriend a very interesting person in Europe.
yes.
Here's my argument, and
Yes.
I have a very close friend
Yep.
that has taken
to the moon.
They've taken the moon
Yep.
option, and we have gotten into it. And they have said something similar about like the experience and not who can say that and things
Right.
like that. And they made mention of like it's an incredible story
Right.
and things like that. And I said, fantastic. I'll make a deal with you. You go to the moon.
Okay.
And then the next day, you can call me and you tell me everything about it. I will listen for hours on the phone.
I'm going to bring you back a rock, Ray. What do you think about that?
I really do appreciate that.
Jeez.
And
You're not getting anything.
Come on, moon cheese.
you just failed the first test, and now you're not allowed to
Yeah.
go to the moon.
Why is he biting the ground?
This isn't good. Why did he take his helmet off?
Oh God, he's a xenomorph.
So you call me and
Yes.
you tell me the entire thing. I want
Right.
to hear from minute one of training,
Mm-hmm.
when you got in the rocket, how you were feeling, and when you got to the moon and the
Mm-hmm.
experience, the physical feeling of less gravity, and then when you look back and see this little blue marble floating in a void.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me everything.
Yes.
And I will listen intently and
Thank
love
you.
it and really enjoy that. Wow. And then when I start my year in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call you and I will tell you about my week
Yep.
in Europe.
Okay.
And what I'm in Italy this week.
Yes.
And I will tell you the things that I experienced and the things that really I feel, spoke to the soul of me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you can tell me about the moon again.
Oh, wow. I can
and
tell you
then
everything
next
with
week
52
I'll
down.
call you and tell you about my experience in Germany.
Ooh,
and
all right.
I saw Sabrina and we had a lovely day. And
Oh,
it was so
nice.
fun.
Dressed up as
her and my wife
stormtroopers,
got
yeah.
along so great.
Oh,
My
it's great.
son didn't like her.
Yeah.
And all these things. And then you can tell me about that 10 minutes on the moon again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do it the next week. My point is, I feel that yes, the moon would be, if the option was, do you want to go to the moon?
Yes.
Sure. As long as you can guarantee safety. It still freaks me out.
Right.
I think I could be up there and very easily get into a place of really understanding exactly where I am in that moment.
Oh, it's
And then
terrifying.
wanting to rip my own skin off of my face and
Yes.
scream and shriek.
Let me
right?
say something. I get that whenever I kayak.
Yeah.
When I'm out over a body of water.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
At some point, I panic.
Yeah.
At some point, I panic, and then I try to get it out of my head.
I do it every time I fly. Every time I fly, I'm like, this is fucking insane,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've not even seen the person in charge of this plane.
And here's what's interesting. What gets me out of that for flying
Captain
and for,
Puddinhead.
and for kayaking is I'm like, so many people do this, and the problem is such a small percentage.
Yeah.
And you can't say that for the moon.
No.
You can't say it.
No.
Like the amount of,
You can say that the percentage-wise, statistically speaking, more people have survived, an attempted trip to the moon than have not.
that's true.
Also, more people have survived on the moon than they did in Europe. I don't know.
Well, here's
I
the
got
thing. So think of everyone that's ever flown.
Yeah.
And the percentage of people that died from
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Think of the percentage of people that went to the moon and the percentage of people that died from it.
Yeah.
And the percentage has to be way higher for the moon.
What?
How many people
He's
fly
saying,
per day?
He's saying if you break it down into
Percentages.
okay,
How many
this-
people died on the moon?
Or
No,
going
not
to the
on
moon.
it. Just
Going
trying
to
to
the
go
moon.
to it.
We said safety's guaranteed.
Well, then why would we even?
No, now we're just having a different.
We're talking.
conversation.
He just
What's
said.
happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
He just. I said. He said the thing about the idea of getting the panic attack.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if safety
No, if that was
you start
guaranteed,
thinking.
then I would absolutely want to have that experience,
Right,
and I
but the
think it would be really big and amazing, right?
Yeah.
But the panic would still happen.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when you panic on an airplane,
Yeah.
you're way safer than if you went to the moon. Of course. How many people fly per day? What do you think? Give me an estimate.
hold on,
I-
don't-
like-
okay, now we're arguing
Okay,
about
but nobody's
province
died
stats.
on the moon. Like,
He's taking it. You're taking it as who has died going to the moon, meaning on the moon, who has died
yeah,
from some kind of crazy
or
accident.
even like going there and back. 100%
yes,
safe.
That's the issue.
Really? No Apollo
none of,
things have
none
ever
of the
exploded?
actual
Gemini things exploded.
What
yeah,
is that?
They weren't going to the moon.
Yeah. It was like,
So no
like
one has ever
The
died?
shuttles that were supposed to go to the moon, those shuttles happened.
Yeah,
and
the
no
rockets.
one died.
Yeah.
No one's ever died going to the moon?
The shuttles
Not to the moon, no.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've said it too many times,
Yeah.
and now it's a Seinfeld
How many people
episode.
have gone to the moon?
Not many.
Like
but
less
but I'm
than-
the next one.
less than
Also
20?
the first cat.
More than 20.
Yeah.
More than 20?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like less than 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my point being that take all of this stuff out
Yep.
of it. Take all this shit out of it. If we're talking about just a human experience, the moon, of course, it would be life-changing.
Yep.
Right? It would be a thing, and wow, oh my God. And I understand, and I would absolutely love to have that experience. But when I think about the idea, I am a little biased because I really, really like being over there.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
the moon?
But a year to literally just experience different cultures and countries and take that in, and like you were describing, like be there for a while, not the tourist thing,
Right.
and really do that, I think would have more long-term personal life-changing experience
Yes,
moments.
you're gonna grow way more.
Right. I think the person I am at the end of that year is a much different person in terms of how much change than the person I was before I went to the moon and then after.
Yeah.
And I think I want that. And I guess maybe a bigger part of this is that like that sense of exploration that is ingrained in us, that idea of humanity trying
Right.
to accomplish a thing, climbing Mount Everest or
Right.
doing, now it's just a tourism thing,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But like going and doing a thing that is unreachable
Yeah.
or very difficult to reach, that kind of idea. And saying you did it and experiencing that thing, that is a part of humanity.
Yes.
But I think the idea of flipping it to a year in Europe, and I think it's interesting, none of us have talked about that year in terms of like luxury. We're not talking
Right.
about like, oh, I can just take it easy. I don't have to
Yeah.
work for a year. I can do whatever I want and stay in a nice hotel. We're
Yeah.
not even talking about that. We've talked about like experience, you know, getting out there and being there. What I think is neat is that level is like folding back on the planet, right? And
Yeah.
going, I can experience humanity
Yes.
versus I can experience this thing out there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I've had enough of humanity. Send me out there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, you know, you
also, the French.
yeah.
I'm French, by the way.
So you can say it.
Yeah.
Have you been to France?
No, I've never been. I've only been out of the country to Mexico, Toronto, and the Bahamas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have
That's
you
all-
been
that's-
to France?
I've not. I just Germany, Austria, Toronto.
You did Germany and Austria, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Was this a package that you purchased with a lot of very specific minded people?
They were like, we're gonna go to Poland, whether they let us in or not. And I'm like, I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah.
No, it's a class trip in high school.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
and it was great.
yeah.
You know,
He has a minor in German.
That's right, yeah. And you knew a German minor. Not child. I mean, like pickaxe, clank, clank.
we went to the salt mines in Salzburg.
There you go.
So
They're very creative with their names. No, I went to Paris once. I was there for a brief period of time. I was almost immedately stricken with food poisoning and wanted to die. So, but it was nice. It was a nice place. Good place to get painful diarrhea, right? And break. It hit me.
you look outside. Oh, the Eiffel Tower.
No, it hit me when I was at Notre Dame. I was there. I'm at the cathedral. We're inside. It's beautiful. It's quiet. We're doing our thing. It's subdued with my wife. And then I am sweating so much and my body is dying.
Yeah.
I'm in so much pain and I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, have I talked about this on the podcast
You talked
before?
to me privately about it.
Oh,
Man,
okay.
The idea, the tour guide is like, so the acoustics, and you kind of tune it out because your stomach hurts so much. You're like, I got to stand in the corner and poot.
Oh, yeah. Brak, 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 brak. Yeah.
like as they're closing mass.
Yeah.
We're
And
just
that's how
gonna-
that fire happened.
We're just gonna move past Poot.
That's fine. That's fine. It's French. He did a little poot.
Poutet.
A little poot. So I desperately
yeah.
was running around trying to find a bathroom, and I
Yeah.
couldn't, and it was horrible. And I ended up in a cafe basement, and it had an automatic turn-off light.
Oh,
And I'm sitting there,
terrible.
and the light shut off, and I'm like doing this every 30 seconds.
Yep.
It was so bad. It was just the absolute fucking worst.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I had that experience.
Yep.
That's neat, right?
I like pate.
Okay, there you go. Right?
I really
Yep.
do.
Yeah, I know. There's so much that I would love to experience.
Ooh, I'll also point out the cuisine of Europe varied,
Yeah.
crazy, but like
The cuisine of the moon.
between that and astronaut food,
Yeah.
which do you think suits my palate more?
Freeze dried,
Pastes,
whatever.
pastes,
Pastes. Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, they're probably like you're on the shuttle to the moon, and
Yeah.
they're like, and we have these meals, and you're like, not a problem, took care of it. And you open your suit, and you've just got hot dogs taped all over your body.
Oh my God, he's got a bomb.
No, it's hot dogs.
Oh my God! Just the video of like the hot dog floating in zero gravity and me twisting.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I would
Yeah.
love to have an experience like that. I mean, I am also afraid of heights, so I would just.
That's pretty high
there's
up there.
Yeah, and then once you get past the heights and you're out in space, the existential cosmic dread is so deep.
I gotta be honest. Even if my safety is guaranteed,
Yeah.
I don't know that the experience of going to the moon exceeds my level of anxiety going into space and going to the moon.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a little bit like frightening.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
It's like
I'll say realistically, no way can I make this moon trip. I get motion sick, and I would
Yeah.
throw up all over the rocket,
Right.
like in a
Well,
really
and your
in a really
sharp
gross way.
feet would cut through the suit.
Yes,
I think I'd be scared to leave orbit. I think
Yeah.
I'd be really scared when we're in free space. I think I'd be terrified when we're on the moon and looking at Earth.
Uh-huh.
I think the whole thing would be a net negative.
Wow.
I really do think that.
Okay.
I think
that's
as,
fair.
as a little science fiction boy, like
Yeah.
starting with the Ring of Charon, which I read when I was like 14 years old. I know
Is that a body part?
it's a
Is that internal? Your ring of Sharon.
but like
Oh, that's what's broken when you lose your virginity.
Yes.
In some cultures, the hymen is referred to as the ring of Sharon.
yes.
So I like something kind of weird. Would you explore my ring of Charon?
But as a little science fiction boy,
Yeah.
the answer is the moon. Like
okay.
1,000 times out of 1,000.
I understand.
and that's
yeah.
that to me. That's just like it's so unattainable.
Yeah.
That giving me this
Opportunity.
binary opportunity, I gotta choose it.
It's tough because there's another element to this that I'm thinking about while you're saying that. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. I totally get it. I really, really do. There's this other part of like this 10-minute experience. Honestly, I don't know how much more time I would want on the moon to feel like 10 minutes was short.
Yeah.
I feel like in 10 minutes, to be completely honest, I think I could do most of what I would want to get out of the moon.
Hit a golf ball, pick up a rock for Ray.
Jump,
Not-
step on a scale and be proud of myself.
Well, I was also thinking the idea of like being in zero gravity and not having back pain.
Sure, and when you come home having crippling back pain.
I gotta be honest. I think if I was on the moon, my anxiety would be so high that if they're all jumping and being
Yeah.
high, I'm like,
No,
I
I'll fall
know,
off. I'll fall
I
off.
know
Yeah.
if I jump, I will go into space.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I'm
this
gonna
works.
Sandra Bullock my way right out of here.
I know it.
Yeah, but I think the trip to Europe, I think at the end, I also want to examine that part when it's all over.
Yep.
You know, the joke of like I'll have all these stories, I think speaks to a larger truth, right? Again, it comes back to that. I think I'll be more of a changed person by that.
Absolutely.
But the experience is over an entire year.
Yeah.
I'm going to have new friends. I'm going to have new people I know, new places that I now know I love, new food things, new experiences where I'm like, oh, that's important to me. I'm going to seek it out when I go home. I'm going
Yeah.
to order it specially, things like that. And the moon, I think I'm going to feel, eventually I'm going to feel like, okay, well, I guess was that the peak? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, does that make sense? And then what would be more depressing is if I got to a place where I went, oh yeah, no, I was on the moon. It was like 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
it was cool. And then being done, like that feels.
I don't think I'd
sad
ever.
to me.
I don't think I'd ever get tired of it.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the people around you, I think, would.
No, they sure would. They
I
sure
think
would.
you know what I don't want to do. I don't want to be friends with anyone who went to the moon for 10 minutes.
All right, everyone,
they would never shut
We're
up.
gonna do
about it.
2 truths and a lie.
Here we go.
You're like,
They
you're
try
like-
and mix it up.
You're like, let me think. I own socks. I don't have a cat. And
Oh, I was thinking to mix it up. You're like your friend is like, just don't say you. Oh, I went on the moon. Don't brag
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
I won't.
All right. I love spicy food. I have a cat. Oh wait, no, sorry. I hate spicy food.
Yep.
yeah,
I don't have. Oh no,
I have a
have a
cat.
cat. I fucked up my own joke.
I get
Yeah.
it.
And I didn't go to the moon.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
Craig, cut all of it. Cut all of it.
No, don't go ahead. So
Craig, cut it. Craig, where do you want to go? Europe for a year or the moon?
put on the screen text.
Yeah,
text,
yeah, yeah.
text.
Wouldn't that be
Tell us-
funny?
That would be funny. Put what you want.
So
Just
right
answer.
here, it's either going to be Europe or moon.
Yeah.
And don't try and be funny and put something else there. It would be very funny if he had something and then it deleted it and went to...
So you know what's one thing I'm really excited about? It's a microcosm of this entire thing.
Yeah.
I love the idea, like day one, you try a really specific, authentic dish where you are in Europe.
Yeah.
And you're like, why would anyone like this? And by the end, understanding it,
Yeah.
getting it, and loving it. And that's kind of, to me, a metaphor for a lot of the things you'd experience there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
I
you,
think so.
you develop an understanding for different cultures.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think selfishly for me, I'm already fantasizing about like what that year would be in terms of where I'm going. You know
Are
what
you
I mean?
single for it? You get a pass?
No, he
No,
said
that's
he's taking
rude.
Finn
I'm
and Kalina.
Yeah, Finn and Kalina get to go.
Oh.
Yeah. I could not take it if I was like, bye for a year.
I kind of thought it was in a vacuum.
Hey, Finn, I'm not going to be your dad for this year of your
Well,
life.
I thought it was like vacuum, Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't believe you don't want to take Finn to the moon.
No, in that one, you can't bring anybody with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Even
it was
if you try and sneak them under your shirt,
Rosie,
Brad.
Rosie is coming with me.
That was me. I have IBS.
All right, everyone put on their space. Everyone put on their space helmets, and you're like, oh shit.
No, it's you in the helmet, and then the cat just wrapped around the back of your head. You're so squished in. Oh, she's peeing. She's peeing.
I've seen footage of like, cats in microgravity, and they're used to like twisting so they can land on their feet, and it's
Yeah.
these scientists dropping them, and the cat's being, and the scientists are like, oh,
What are you watching?
just like archival footage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Science.
Of cat torture.
Scientist jackass. What are you? What's your fucking problem?
Throw a cat into an anti-gravity thing.
There is a real part of this, and I've thought about this when I see like sci-fi shows or if I like actual astronaut things, all that stuff. This is a real thing I have thought many times when
Yep.
there's like, especially in sci-fi world,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
When people are wearing the suits and everything. I feel like as soon as the person put it on, turned it,
Yep.
right? I'm in, I'm ready to get out. Immediately I go, I have an itch on my face.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how anyone can go through that long of a time
Yep.
and not be able to just like, you know what I mean? Like do something like my nose itches, like whatever it is.
Is there a diaper in there or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a diaper?
There's a system of
It's
some sort.
it's not a diaper. Yeah, it's a system.
Do
of,
you put your
of-
penis in a tube,
I believe so.
Yeah.
and a tube goes into your anus?
No,
I think you
let's
just
just say
don't-
it's a diaper. Yeah, we'll say it's a diaper.
Probably easier.
Yeah. They just don't want to call it that. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
all
It's a
right.
space self-relieval system.
Okay, all right. Because that was cool with my penis in a tube the whole time.
You could do that in Europe.
Yeah, that's true. Auto
Right?
blow.
Yeah.
You
Auto
know?
blow is like an active tube.
Excuse me. Le auto blow.
Le auto bleu,
Auto blow.
as the French call them.
It will, how do you say, suck a tennis ball through a garden hose, No, it's, I would love to do that. In fact, now I regret even talking about this because I
because you wanna
just
go to
want to go to Europe.
I would like to get one of those meat pies that you talked about from was it Coventry
honey.
Gardens?
It was not in Covent Garden. Coventry Gardens very different. Coventry, Rhode Island, the gardens are
Yeah, that's
not
what I was
great.
thinking.
This was in
It was in like a market square of some sort.
It was a market, and I
Trafalgar Square.
I don't remember what it was now. Borough Market. There we
Okay.
go. But they're located all over England.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those fucking pies. Finn just brought those up like the other day.
Oh, I love
He
shit
was
like
like,
that.
it'd be cool if we could have Pie Minister. I'm like, you shut your fucking mouth.
Do they have anything like here that you could do?
I'm sure if you go to like an English pub kind of place, they
there's
probably have something.
There's probably some authentic stuff you could find.
Yeah.
But
It's
you'd have to really hunt it down, I guess. That's
yeah.
the problem.
and that's just English food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're not even talking about like Italy,
Exactly.
which is like, I mean, kind of the birthplace of cuisine in a way.
It's
You
like,
know what I mean?
This is the
Greek food.
This is the experience that's like
Luxembourg.
I don't know.
Money
there's a
laundering
part of me that thinks like even a year, you'd be kind of rushing to do all the stuff.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I joked about this where I talked about this with Kalina, and I was like, right off the bat, we are making like a place in London, a flat in London, or a hotel in London. That's our home base.
Yep.
We're gonna be here, and we will then plan all of these things out,
Yep.
right? But to create a sense of normalcy. Of like, okay, now we're back at the flat.
Yep.
And I love London, so being
Right.
able to do the stuff there. But I'm certainly not going to spend the whole year there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, let's do a week back here, and then we're going to do 3 weeks here.
Exactly.
And then we're going to come back, we'll do a week, and then we'll do 3 weeks there.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? Yeah.
exactly.
It would be super cool.
That'd be the way you do it. To me, you'd
Yeah.
be dividing it by the places. I would probably look at the weeks of the year and start in the beginning and be like, here for this long, here
Yeah.
for this long, and kind of just measure it like that.
Yeah. And then I would do a quick Google of each of those places
Yes.
with the dates.
Yeah.
Just to see, is there a weird ceremony?
Oh, and go to
Are
the
they
weird
gonna
side.
do-
Ooh,
no,
a
no, are they gonna-
midsummer.
Are they gonna do a horror at me? When I get there, are they like, ooh, the biggest one in the village is going to be, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm in Latvia going, this sucks. I wish I picked the moon as I'm running away.
He's strutting in this small parade in a bear costume.
I think they're making me the mayor. And I'm going to a big, huge boiling cauldron. I'm the mayor. Yeah,
The
I'm big
mayor,
like a bear.
the
Rawr.
mayor gets a hot tub.
That's really funny.
That's very fun. No, I think that's an interesting question because it does go to that heart of
Yeah.
like, do you want to do this thing that very few have?
Yep.
But it's also both of those things are like in our DNA.
Yeah.
I mean,
as a human culture to do those things.
I think of like me going around the United States everywhere I've gone and
Yeah.
just trying the local foods of those places.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is that times a million.
Right.
You know what I
right,
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never tried moon cuisine, so just throwing that. out there.
I've had a moon pie.
I grew up,
Was that what you were going to do?
I guess so.
Today, you know what's funny? Today, I think all of us have been joke blocked
Yeah.
by another one of us.
Oh, on Monday too, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other day
yeah.
too, we did it at the same time.
Uh-oh. Are we, is this the podcast version of syncing our periods?
Yeah. You know, like people in relationships eventually look like each other a little bit.
What are those three Play-Doh boys doing?
Oh my God, more bread! Finally!
Let's all go to the moon.
I'm bringing my own food. No, this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thank you guys for going through these questions. We only did 3.
I know.
We did 3, and we learned a lot more about ourselves,
Yes.
and about each other,
Yeah.
and about Canadian football.
Yes, it's true.
But viewer listener, if you have a strong opinion, and I'm willing to bet there's more than a few of you,
Yes.
about our choices in these questions or what you would prefer to do, please let us know. Reach out to us at funbearablepod@gmail.com. You can always hit us on our socials, funbearablepod. Let us know some of your views on these questions because they're so wide open,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say Europe for a year is like the clear choice. It's so the clear choice.
It just feels like he could do that tomorrow if he wanted to.
What bank account are you looking at?
For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
You can go to the moon.
Okay, thank you.
However, in the capsule with you,
Yes,
Elon Musk,
of course.
oh boy.
It's his rocket.
Jeff Bezos,
Ooh.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, then I think I'm sabotaging the rocket for the benefit of humanity.
And to you, I salute you, sir. He was the brave man that did what no one could, but everyone should.
The cat made it home safely.
Little parachute.
Yeah.
Tiny capsule.
Yes.
Little tiny capsule, cat
pretty cute.
capsule.
I will say there's one problem with you going to the moon that
What?
you didn't think about.
Uh-oh.
When you come home, there's a lot of memes about you, and they start calling you Neil
Moonboy?
Arm Week.
So dumb.
Oh no!
That's your worst joke ever.
No way! That's a great one.
Wouldn't it be sad if you opened a paper when you did come home and they did say something shitty on the headline of
Yeah.
your local paper? Right?
That's what I'm saying.
area creep makes it to the moon. You know what I mean? That's not even about you. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
It's like area creep makes it to the moon. You're like, shit.
I grew up somewhere else.
What if you did something really embarrassing while you were up there?
Oh yeah.
And then everybody knows. What if you're the astronaut that gets diarrhea that's so bad it's a threat to their life, right? Which can happen easily.
It's true.
But you like it's nerves or whatever.
Yeah, Greek food.
And there's audio recordings of you on the moon
Yeah.
going, I'm shitting.
It's
filling my legs. Yeah, you see it going up there.
it's not just audio. It's being live streamed to like
Yeah.
classrooms.
Yeah.
It's
oh my
it's
God.
a whole thing.
They're like, okay, Brad, we're coming to get you and we're gonna help you, and you're like, no, leave me.
My thing is him, and he's in the spaceship, and he has his arms around the real astronauts, and he's like, "Man, we're gonna have some fun, right, guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, Brad." And he's like, "I love that these spacesuits have that diaper built in." And they go and they look, and it just shows like a bathroom sign on a door behind them. And they're on.
Could there? I mean, that is a genuine like comedy question. Really, like it would be pretty humiliating if you came home and it's just like your story for history.
Yeah.
Is you're the guy that shit his pants on the moon.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. What about the meme?
Yeah.
The meme is even worse.
I think that's the real conspiracy theory. I think that the moon landing did happen, but I think that Neil Armstrong shit his pants when he was out there, and so they scrubbed that part of the
Right.
footage.
That's why it took so long to finish the phrase.
Yeah.
Originally it was one small step for man, and then they cut out.
yeah. I shit my pants.
God, I shit my pants on the
Yeah.
moon.
He did fuck up the quote though.
Yeah.
Did he?
That's true. He
Yeah.
actually fucked up the quote. It was supposed to be, it's one small step for a man.
I was gonna say it makes more sense.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is
And
interesting.
it's because his mind was not on it. And
He
the
was
A
clenching.
was cut out.
He was clenching.
Yeah, the A was part of the cutout.
That's
It's
interesting.
one small step for. Oh, man. All right, we'll just take it from there. Say it now. All right. It's really hot. Okay, just say it.
Now it's getting cold.
Yeah. And now it's cold.
I've exceeded the capacity of my diaper.
Requesting permission to vent. Requesting permission to vent.
No. The propulsion will shoot you right out of orbit.
The camera's on. The camera's on. The camera's on.
Oh, that was the deleted scene alternate ending of Gravity.
You know what?
Sandra Bullock was going to shit herself.
A real Swiss
know
Army
what?
Man situation.
Yeah.
The moon landing was not faked, but that's what actually happened. So when they came back, they're like, "We got to shoot.
Yeah.
We got to reshoot."
Yeah, we got to do.
We
We got
gotta
to
do
do
some
some whole thing
ADR.
over. So describe what you saw,
yeah.
and don't eat anything.
No,
The
yeah.
day it's
And
like a medical procedure. Don't eat before.
Yeah.
happens again.
Yeah, guys.
After they destroyed the set.
guys, I fucking did it again.
Fucking Neil.
Can I be honest? I was doing it at the parade. I was sitting in that car shitting my pants. That is pretty fun. I like
Yeah,
that
it is
idea.
good.
Huh.
Moon shit.
Do you think they covered any of that in Apollo 13, the movie with Tom Hanks?
Yeah. Director's cut.
Apollo the 13th.
Jason Voorhees.
Jason in space. Jason X.
Yeah.
Okay, we got there. Isn't the leprechaun up there somewhere too?
Leprechauns floating around.
I think in two
Space
of
is
them.
dangerous.
See,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
Yeah, you're insane.
The
Xenomorphs.
leprechaun started in Europe.
Xenomorph. Predator. Jason.
Predators on Earth.
Superman's fighting a guy up there.
I don't think they were next to the moon, were they?
I think.
I thought they were in
also-
near Earth orbit. Katy Perry zone.
Oh, Ewoks. Smelly.
No, that's a different moon.
Yeah, that was the farthest moon of Endor.
That's no
Or,
moon.
yeah. A new low.